Don't wanna be nobody's woman. Don't wanna be nobody's wife. Don't wanna be nobody's woman. Don't wanna be nobody's wife. Well, I just wanna take care of Annie all the rest of my life. Well, I don't want to take care of no one. Don't need no one to take care of me. Don't want to take care of no one. Don't need no one to take care of me. I'm just tired of being your nursemaid. I believe I'm gonna set you free. I'm gonna throw you out of here. I'm gonna change all the locks just 'cause I'm tired of cooking you meals and washing all your socks. I will not be your baby, no matter what you do. I take care of Annie, why don't you take care of you? Don't wanna be nobody's woman. Don't wanna be nobody's wife. Well, I just want to take care of Annie all the rest of my life. I like 'em old, I like 'em young, I like 'em short, I like 'em tall. I like 'em old, I like 'em young, I like 'em short, I like 'em tall. But if I had to stick to one man, ooh, I'd take no one man at all. Well, you can rock me, honey, rock me all night long. You can rock me, honey, rock me all night long. But if you think you can own me, well, you know you got the whole thing wrong. Gather round me, sisters, I'll tell you all the news. Gather round me, sisters, I'll tell you all the news. You don't have to have just one man to drive away your empty bed blues.
Wonderful. I'll bet that speaks to a lot of women that you perform for.
Well, I think so, and of course, I wrote that in 1971. I might have a little different point of view now, but yeah.
Well, the interesting thing to me, too, is the focus that you have on women, for women, by women. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, what can I say? I'm a woman.
But that doesn't often happen in this world where we're kind of forced into directions that are not necessarily women-oriented.
Oh, well, a lot of the songs that I write are intentionally not about women specifically. I really believe that art of any kind is about those things that make us the same, not the things that make us different.
Specific, yeah.
But I am a woman, and it's so radical to write about a person who is a woman. A lot of the songs about women are either whiny, you know, torch songs, and I can't bring myself to sing those. I mean, even when I sing songs that have verses like that, I don't do those verses, like "Tain't Nobody's Business." I don't do those masochistic verses at all. And the other stuff about women very often is about the opposite. You know, the woman who's totally inhuman and unpleasant, and those are often sung by men. But a lot of the songs that I do, which are covers of other people's songs, all I've done is change the pronoun, which suddenly makes it a woman's song. But
Right. Well, it certainly creates a great deal of response, or evokes a great deal of response in the audience, and that's
well,
that's important.
I think that's one of the reasons that Sapphire has gotten to be so incredibly popular, is that we were a voice for more than half the population who didn't have a voice in the blues at that time. I mean, historically, in the blues, women have been extremely prominent voices. The first recordings were all by women vocalists: Bessie Smith and Ma Rainey, Ida Cox, Lucille Bogan, and there's a wealth of wonderful songs by these women. But recently, women hadn't been all that prominent. I mean, when I was coming up, the only guitar players that I could look to were a woman named Minnie Lawler, who wasn't even active at that time, but there were recordings. She was a great guitar player, great singer, great songwriter. Evidently a pretty wild woman also. And Sister Rosetta Tharpe, who was not even supposedly blues. She's supposed to be gospel, but she was wonderful. Again, I never saw her, but I did see, actually later I saw film clips of it before I heard. So that's it for guitar players, except that when I was a junior in high school, I had this wonderful boyfriend who introduced me to many wonderful things, but he took me to an Odetta concert, and Odetta was playing a guitar. And I was so delighted to hear a woman playing an instrument, a guitar. There were a lot of women piano players, especially in jazz, that I could look to, but not a lot of women guitar players.
How extensively did you tour? I mean, where did it take you?
Pretty much all over the planet. Hong Kong is the only place I've been in Asia, and I plan to rectify that as soon as possible. And South Africa is the only place that I've been in Africa. Let's see, Brazil is the only place I've been in Latin America. I mean, except, little tour boat things. But all over Western Europe. I've been also to the Czech Republic, Australia, New Zealand, all over.
How does your music become of interest in foreign countries? I mean,
well, places. First of all, a lot of people speak English.
True.
People come up to me all over the world and apologize for their English, and I always have to say, "Hey, your English is so much better than my Czech or Portuguese or whatever." But the other thing is, when I'm choosing the song, I'm very careful to choose music that stands on its own without lyrics. Lyrics add icing on the cake, but to me, you should be able to get across a feeling with only the music. I noticed, for example, in the Czech Republic, I was at a blues festival there, played at a blues festival there, and there were a lot of Czech musicians, wonderful, unbelievable musicians from the Czech Republic, and they were great. And when they sang in Czech, I could feel the emotion, just feel it.